Oh yes, it's Monday once again. That means it's countdown day here on the channel. Now you may have noticed that in the last week there was no countdown question. Because as I explained last week, this is part 2 of really a trilogy of countdowns based on one round of voting that went very different than I expected. You see, last week I asked the question about the best small partner bots for bigger bots. And I said it can include Action Masters, well, the Action Master partners, Headmasters, Target Masters, Power Masters, even Brain Master, even the Chest Masters or Breast Masters, if you prefer the Japanese term. Any of the little master bots, basically. And I figured that would be very clear. I figured that's the way the voting would go. And then something peculiar happened. People started to vote for the cassette bots. And my plan this week was to do a question about the cassette bots. So what I ended up doing is amassing those votes to come up with this list as well. Now, before anybody gets bent into shape and says, wait, I missed a cassette bot vote. I would have voted for so-and-so and such and such. Don't do it now. Don't do it now. Because after some time has passed, we're going to do a cassette bot sequel where it will be its own dedicated question. But because of the peculiar way that voting habits went this time, I said, you know what? There's an opportunity here. There's an opportunity here to do a list of the small Action Master and, Target Master and Headmaster bots, which was last week, part 1. This one is going to be the top 10 cassette bots in Transformers. And next week, we're going to look at the amalgamation of both lists. Who are the top 10 overall small bot partners? It's going to be interesting to see how it pans out in the end. So if you missed part 1 last week, you should really see part 1 from last week, because that is the first half with all the Action Masters and whatnot. This time, we're going to be looking strictly at the cassette bots. The top 10 cassette bots. That's going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot Counts Down. Hey, one hail, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe while you're at it, light 'em up, baby. And hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton and lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All that in the description down below. Also in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. I'm not going to give some big preamble because I did that before the intro, right at the very beginning of all of this. We're going to dive right into the honorable mentions. There's actually only one honorable mention, and this guy got 3 votes. 3 votes he got, and it's interesting because it's not actually a cassette bot, though we have gotten in recent times within the last year a cassette bot version of this character. The honorable mention is Wing Thing. Now, for those who don't know, Wing Thing was a little bat that came with Action Master Soundwave. So funny enough, Wing Thing actually harkens to last week's countdown. However, in the War for Cybertron series, we got a 4-pack of cassettes that had Rumble, proper Rumble, blue Rumble. Round these parts, cartoon is king. So yeah, Rumble is blue. Ain't up for debate around these parts in this neck of the woods. It also came with the 2 Power Masters, technically, that go with Double Dealer. Knock and Scar, I think are their names. And it came with Wing Thing as an orange bat. So he's sort of been retconned that he's actually one of the cassettes. So Wing Thing, he gets the honorable mention. Didn't make the list, so who did? Well, you know what we're going to do. We're going to kick things off with number 10 first. Number 10 takes us to one of the more enigmatic characters, and he who was a senator with Ratbat. Now, this is actually the original War for Cybertron. It's the disc that goes with the War for Cybertron Voyager Soundwave. I mean, I could have obviously taken the Siege one. I do have that, but like, how often do I get to break this out, you know? How often do I get to break this out? Ratbat is number 10. He came in. The votes that he got were A, because of the fact that he was prominent in the comics. He was in season 3 a little bit. He was always a little bit creepy, certainly mysterious, certainly quiet. It's so strange that Ratbat has kind of developed this almost cult following in pieces of fiction that have never been prominent, but he has quite a personality and quite a history. Probably the biggest history of all of the minions of Soundwave. And for that reason, because he's so unique, and because he's such a cool color scheme of black and purple, how can you not love that with a bit of gold? You know, how can you not love that? Because of all of those reasons, this guy takes the number 10 slot. Going from Decepticon to Autobot, we now have Ramhorn. This is one of Blaster's cassette minions. Quite intelligent, quite brutish as well. It's interesting. Sometimes he's very smart. Sometimes he's very, I guess, bold. I mean, he does a lot of ramming things. Ramhorn, hence the name, right? I love Ramhorn. This version, the Titans Return version, never did come out here. Luckily, a local guy, had ordered it and decided he was selling it, so I managed to get it that way. Really, really happy with this version. I know we're probably going to end up getting something updated, but this is still a great version of Little Ramhorn, who happens to turn into a pretty bodacious tank, you know, which is not something that he normally turns into, but I'll take it. I accept it. I like it. Ramhorn, probably my personal favorite Autobot cassette. And enough fans felt the same way that he took the number 9 slot. While number 8 is certainly associated with Soundwave, more often than not, this guy gets associated with Sound Blaster, and it's Buzzsaw. I like Buzzsaw. This is a custom Buzzsaw from the Siege mold. I actually have 2. I have Buzzsaw, and then I have Hell Buzzsaw. Hell Buzzsaw is the Buzzsaw that is accompanying the Cybertron Sound Blaster, who, spoiler, is Logos Prime. So Hell Buzzsaw is actually the minion of one of the original 13, depending on what continuity you go to. This is just the Buzzsaw that normally goes with Sound Blaster or Soundwave. Buzzsaw, he's yellow Laserbeak. He's cool. He's a bad bird with a bad attitude, but he's beloved by fans enough that he took the number 8 slot. Number 7 takes us right back to the Autobots with Steeljaw. Yes, Steeljaw, one of the most gifted trackers around. Apparently the guy can like smell up to 800 miles. He can go undetected. He's very, quiet, cunning, reserved. Sometimes he comes across as cold and rude because of that. But in essence, it's just because he's all business. You know, he has a job to do. He wants to please Blaster. He wants to please the Autobots. And he's intent on doing said job to the best of his ability. We've also had Stripes, but I think the cat that everyone knows and loves is Steeljaw. Not to mention that his bite is pretty much unbreakable. It's a steel jaw. In fact, this guy is so beloved that the name Steeljaw has been used as a reference to minions of Lockdown in the movies, and was even a Decepticon baddie in Robots in Disguise 2015. But this is where it started. This is the guy I started with, and he's still probably the best iteration of Steeljaw. For that reason, this guy takes the number 7 slot. Coming in at number 6, did somebody start talking about football? Because if you did, you're probably going to get the attention of this guy. It is Eject. Eject loves human sports, but specifically football. I like Eject. You know, it was obvious that this guy is like a counterpart to Rumble and Frenzy, or Rumble or Frenzy. I love the version that came with Blaster. Yeah, okay, it's translucent plastic. A lot of people are going to bellyache and complain about it, but man, oh man, why weren't all of the Siege cassettes done this well? I love this guy. I thought he turned out spectacular. Eject, probably on the minds of fans because of his recent release, but a classic cassette bot nevertheless, and he took the number 6 slot. And a hush falls over the crowd as we reach the most coveted of locations, the halfway mark. And the entry at the halfway mark is actually kind of ironic because it's sort of tied to Eject in that his final appearance, this character's final appearance, was really a fist fight with Eject in Transformers the movie, and it's this guy. It is Frenzy. Now, I know what you're going to say. Wait, no, that's Rumble. He's the red and black guy. We're not doing the debate here. We're going by the original cartoon animation, which says that the red and black guy is Frenzy. Production error aside, all that nonsense aside, Red and black guy, we're calling Frenzy in these parts. If you disagree, that's fine. I don't care. That cartoon is king. That's what I'm going with. Frenzy is fantastic. I love the personality of the guy. Why? Because he doesn't care about causes. He doesn't care about right and wrong. He doesn't care about, you know, fighting for the Decepticon cause or any of that stuff. All he cares about is destruction, chaos, malice, destroying, breaking, crushing, whatever he can do. He just loves the, I don't know, I guess the feel of battle, the excitement of battle. I mean, hence the name Frenzy, because he's full of frenetic energy. One of the most classic bots going. And for that reason, this guy took the number 5 slot. Did you know that the character who comes in at number 4 is a reservoir of trivia knowledge? Did you know that he stores all that knowledge on data tracks and data disks? Did you know that he doesn't care about what that knowledge is as long as he has it, because all knowledge is valuable? I'm talking, of course, about Rewind. It's so funny. Eject loves sports. He's kind of a jock. Rewind is a bookworm and a bit of a nerd. Very intelligent, very capable. Also, I love the Titans Return version of the guy. Big fan. I feel very happy that I have Eject and Rewind in my collection. And you know what? I'm kind of shockingly okay that they're not the same mold. I'm kind of glad that they're their own independent molds. I think that's pretty cool. Rewind is great. Eject is great. They're both great. Enough people like this bookworm trivia bound Autobot that he was able to take the number 4 slot. Number 3 takes us to the Decepticon thug of all thugs, that being Rumble. Now again, Rumble to me is the blue lad, because that's the way he was in the cartoon, and I loved Rumble. Who didn't love Rumble? If you don't know any other cassette, if you're just part of the mainstream world out there that knows, you know, some stuff about pop culture, if you don't know anything else about Soundwave, you probably know at least his top 3 cassettes, of which this guy is well up there. Right from the very beginning, right from when he kind of like backhanded Spike and he had that battle with Hound. Right from, you know, I guess like right up to when he was one of the minions that helped to rebuild Soundwave into Sound Blaster. Rumble's always been there, but he's always been a supporting kind of cast member, a supporting Decepticon. He's always been a thug that'll do dirty jobs. And you know what? The fact that he likes kind of chaos and destruction and is happy to back up any of the maniacal schemes that Frenzy wants to cook up to destroy stuff just adds to this guy's danger factor. Not to mention his pile drivers. They're pretty bad too, dude. Enough fans remember Frenzy, love Frenzy, that this guy took the number 3 slot. Coming in at number 2, we have perhaps one of the most prolific of all Transformers, one of the most prolific of the cassettes, and it's Ravage. So many people have named their pets, especially their black cats, Ravage. I used to even call my cat Mo Ravage for many years, even though his name wasn't Ravage, but I used to say, "You're my little Ravage because you like to destroy things." Again, they're right from the very beginning. Everybody remembers him being in the cage when he got the key and escaped. Everybody was surprised when they first learned that in Japan the guy could talk, and in subsequent comics he's been pretty vocal. Even as recent as the Shattered Glass story, the Shattered Glass version of this guy was pretty vocal in that. Didn't have a lot of lines, but when he was in a panel, he had a lot to say. He is a vicious big cat. A Black Panther is a cool cat. Ravage is a cool cat. Then, on top of all of that, he was a prominent character in one of the best storylines that was a part of all of Beast Wars. If you haven't watched Beast Wars and you're a G1 fan, because Beast Wars is G1, there's no debate, it explicitly is, go at least watch The Agenda. Pretty sure it's The Agenda. Ravage is very prominent and very much ends up following the orders of his Megatron. It's so good, such a wonderful character, so much lore and history behind this guy. How can you not love Ravage? Well, you know what? That's a good question to ask, because enough fans love Ravage enough that he was able to score plenty of votes to solidify himself at the number 2 slot. And now here we are at number 1 for the cassette bots, and honestly, how can you argue with this? Number 1 is probably the most loyal minion of Soundwave. It is one of the first characters we ever got introduced to in Transformers. He is the ultimate spy, but at the same time, when it comes to aerial combat, he is really second to none. I mean, he can even keep his own with the Seekers, and he has a nasty bite with those 2 laser beams that he has, that he likes to shoot at Autobots while they're trying to weave through, his laser fire. Of course, I'm talking about Laserbeak. How can this guy not be the top one? Like, we all remember that scene where, is it Hound he's after? And he ends up like shooting him off of a cliff, and that's when Holler pulls him up. And I think like he sends one of his blasters after Hound maybe, and like the rest of him goes after Sunstreaker or Sideswipe, I think. And like they're on the run from him. He's one little cassette bot, but he's so formidable and so capable and so dangerous that even being this small, he packs quite a wallop and quite a punch, enough that it sends the Autobots packing. Goes to show that size, man, is not everything when it comes to being an effective warrior. That is for sure and certain. Besides that, one of the best known versions of Laserbeak is one that doesn't even turn into a cassette. That being the version of him from the films. A lot of people that voted said, you know what? I love Laserbeak. He's really a minion of Soundwave, but the way he was in the films was amazing, and he was like basically a sadistic monster in the films. But like, you knew it was dangerous when Laserbeak was there because the voice acting, because everything that he did became dangerous. He could be a cassette, but he could also take pretty much and rescan pretty much any form he wanted. Always danger in the G1 cartoon, always a danger in the comics, and always a danger even in the movies. How can you argue with Laserbeak, man? Taking the #1 slot. And there you have it once again, 10 down to 1 for the cassette bots. This makes sense to me. I feel like this list pretty much panned out the way I thought that it would. I would have liked to have probably seen some votes here for Slugfest, maybe, for Squawk Box, for Beast Box or Squawk Talk, so Squawk Box. There was a vote that came in after the voting was closed for, I think it was for Beast Box, if I'm not mistaken. I couldn't count it, but he did technically get 1 vote, but I couldn't count it because it was after the deadline. Anyway, there you go. Let me know where your favorites landed, or if your favorites made this list. We got 1 more to go next week. Part 3 next week is going to be all of the little bots, from the Target Masters to the Headmasters to the cassette bots, all of them. Even like the big headmasters. Like some people last week said, well, what about something like Zarek? Like, that's not really a small bot, but it is when you compare it to Scorponok, right? We're going to see those smaller partner bots, the definitive list, including all of the master type and all of the cassette bot type. We're going to see how they all pan out next week. For now, I appreciate you coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we offer to you through Teespring. Or of course, you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Stick around. Have some fun with us here on the channel. Especially don't forget that somehow, someway, each and every single day, you right there, you do make a difference. And I look forward, baby, to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday night, at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way right here inside the videos.